Greetings, welcome to Over Under. I'm your host, Tony Anderson, and you're now tuned into the show that's going to break down some of the juicy bets that Ohioans just can't pass up. Joining me this week is Bet for the Win's Prince J. Grimes and Beacon Journal's Ryan Lewis. All right, fellas, let's start off in the land. Now, the Cavs come out of the All-Star break sitting in fourth place, and things may have just gotten a little bit easier in the East, seeing as how Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving took their talents west. So, Ryan, there's no doubt the Cavs will have their hands full with the three-headed monster that is the Celtics, Bucks, and 76ers. But at plus 1,000 for Cleveland to win the East, it's hard to find a better out there, in my opinion. Do you agree, yes or no?
I think it's a fun number for a few reasons. One being that the Cavs have actually played well against those top three teams. They're 5-3 against those three teams. And they've also been dealing with so many injuries throughout the season. That's kind of been one of the biggest points to their season so far, is that they haven't logged that much time together on the floor at full strength, healthy. There is a reason that number is so high. There isn't a lot of playoff experience, and Kevin Love is one of the few guys that did have that playoff experience. He's now gone. That mountain is going to be a pretty tough one for them to climb, considering they just haven't done this together.
All right, Prince, do you think the Cavs, led by Donovan Mitchell, can make a deep playoff run?
It kind of depends on what we mean by deep, right? Like, I think they can absolutely win a first-round playoff matchup, and they probably should. They'll be likely to have home court advantage in the first round. But once we start talking about the second round, the conference finals, that's where it gets a little tougher. We already mentioned the three-headed monster in the East. As far as the Bucks, the 76ers, and the Celtics, those are tough teams, and if they would be sure to run into them in the conference finals, I don't know if Cleveland is ready for that yet. They're probably a year away from really competing with those type of teams.
I agree, fellas, dropping gems. Now, Ryan, back to you. The Cavs are greeted by a mini onslaught of tough games right out of the gates following the All-Star break. How pivotal are these games to set the tone for the backstretch of the season?
The Cavs have been a much, much better team at home, which they're certainly not the only ones, but they've had pretty severe splits home and away, and we know that home court in the playoffs can mean quite a bit. So this playoff seeding is really important to them because they're so inexperienced. I still think that winning 2 out of 4 against that tough stretch, a couple of games on the road, I think that would be a perfectly fine result, and I do think that they can pull that off.
I want us to take out our crystal balls and look at some future bets. Now, I want to focus on some dark horses, so I'll kick it off. I like the Dallas Mavericks to win the conference at plus 750. Now, we know that Luka is one of the best players in the league, and he's in his prime, so I actually like Dallas to win the West. Prince, what you say?
I'm going to go with the Golden State Warriors as a dark horse, which sounds crazy because they're the defending champs, right? But they've hovered around 500 despite not really having their full team together all year. Steph Curry, he's hurt right now. If he can come back healthy, I think that's scary for the rest of the league. No one really wants to see the Warriors rounding the shape.
Ryan, what looks good to you?
I'm going to go based on value and take Philly to win the conference. There's probably a pretty good reason why Boston and Milwaukee are so favored, but there's not a lot of value with those numbers right now. Philly just seems like a very strong value. They do seem ready. They seem like they can handle those top two teams.
There you have it. Now you are armed with the info that could help you win big. I'm Tony Anderson. Join us next week for more NBA coverage, and don't forget, head to Tipico to lock in your bets right now. You've heard our bets. You can take your bets to Tipico right now.